Interrupted. You shut this music off. Alright. Yeah, we got other things we want to do here besides listen to music. So, yeah, for the first time in, I don't know, many years that I've been doing the news, finally got the old World Watchman in with us for a second. Yeah. What a treat, eh? World Watchman, that's my brother from Northern California. Yeah. Yeah, so in our conversations. And welcome, everyone. Welcome to Pine Grove News Live at 6:01 p.m. here on the East Coast. And just straighten this out. But yeah, pig Ebola. But it ends up being, I mean, in the article, it talks about swine flu that they've had over there for a long time. But we'll go over it because I got the article, and I want to get started with something else and get that out of the way. Something we've been talking about all day Sunday. Holy Spirit being very clear that we are to expose false teachers, false preachers, whatever. Yeah, we can do it. We can do it with love, or we can, do it toward. I guess we have to go to the way of Moses, the law there, where it states that we go to our brother or to our sister first, and if they still will not listen, then we go to another brother or sister and go to them. And if they will not listen, then we go to the church. And if they still will not listen, well, then we extricate and we kick them out on their butt. So, yeah, I'm doing that right now. So with that, I know I have got, I kind of went about the wrong way the first time. And I tried to expose false teachers out there. But it's taking its toll anyway. And, the Lord's will be done, no matter how bad that I, myself, because the Lord wasn't in it. It was just me, out there with some kind of vengeful frenzy going after them, because that's what I used to be. But anyway, I want to bring you this article first. It's from the End Time Headlines. And this is from, and I'm not even going to mention the name. This particular person, well known, wife to another person who teach whatever. They teach their doctrinal things. I don't go over there mainly because, I don't listen to preachers and pastors and teachers and all that stuff who do nothing but try to sell me something. Try to sell me a book. If somebody's got, people write books. I understand people write books and it's okay to sell them. That's okay. But when we get down to, and I just want to make it short. When we get down to these pastors, preachers, teachers, whatever, getting themselves, $1 million jets. Okay, that's when it's gone too far. Okay, there's no way that the Lord. We're supposed to be doing it the way Jesus walked it, in His way. Okay, that's the only way. And He did it very humbly and very meekish. He, barely had places to put His head down, to lay down for the night. That's who He was. And He wanted that from everybody. He expected that from everyone, from His disciples, So when people come out, and these teachers, and then they go and, because I think they're, gifted of the Lord, got special gifts that, anyway. I've heard a lot of preachers come out with prophecies. They predict these things, and I have not seen one of them come true, except for the obvious ones like this one. I once heard a preacher give out his certain amount of prophecies per year. At the end of the year, he'd probably give out somewhere from 0 to 12 prophecies. Some things that he thinks is going to happen in the coming year. You know what? One of them was, okay, and this is the truth, but whatever, take it for what it's worth. One of his prophecies was that Africa was going to suffer a drought. I think that's hilarious, and it's pretty bad. All in the same, people actually follow teachers like this. Of course, there's going to be a drought in Africa. I mean, there is all the time. Come on, people. And this one, what we've been talking, the things that we've been talking about these days, the weather that's been, rained down on us, that we've been basically felt like, feels like we're being attacked because our food supply is being attacked. It's all you hear about now, not just in the United States either. It's all over the country, all over the world, all over the world. And out of that, look at Matthew 24. I mean, what does Jesus say of the things that we are to watch? The things that are going to happen. They're going to happen. And one of them is pestilences and famines. Earthquakes. The rest of it in diverse places. I mean, all these things. Rumors of war. Kingdom against kingdom. That, all that. This person right here, and I'll leave the link, but I'm not mentioning the first name because I have not spoken with that person yet. And I don't plan on it either. I just want to hold this up here. I want you to understand, hopefully, and I know most of the people that listen here they do have their eyes open. This person came out and said, I had a vision. I had a vision. I had a vision of famine coming to America. So suddenly, though, that people in beautiful clothes were standing in bread lines. Now, I don't know I don't know what this is all about, but the Bible says that we're going to have famines. We're going to have famines. Why does somebody have to say they had a vision of one and, specifically coming to America? It's already here. Children are going daily without being fed. Okay? That's what's happening. So, it's crap like this, people like this that other people follow. And this is one of the biggest group of people that are gathered in a particular area there. That's all that they do there is sell stuff. They sell prep food. They sell books and CDs. And I mean, I really don't care about what they sell. I've come to that realization that, people do work on other things. They put books together. And if they want to sell them, fine. It's what the money does afterwards. It's not the actual, writing of the books or putting out the CDs or whatever, or preparing them. It's the money that comes along. It's what they do with the money. It's what the money does to them. It changes them. I saw when this particular person, the first person that I went after, when that person, I saw him change in one night. In one night, had some kind of benefit going on. He needed money for something in particular, and he got like 3 times the amount. Kept announcing the amounts over the air. And I just saw his face gradually change over and over. After that, there was no looking back. It was all about the money. And and it's that and the people. Please prove everything the Bible says. Okay, prove the people prove what they're saying? Do they have fruit? Do they have good fruit? I don't know too many vines that produce bad fruit. It's either good or it's dead. In any case, it's up to you folks. We did talk about this, and I know it was from the Holy Spirit because there was at least 3 different people that I know of that came and live in different areas of the country, came at different times during the day, and spoke of the same thing. It's what's on God's heart right now. The doctrine, the phony doctrine, and people being led astray, being deceived, and the ones who really, they want to hear these things. They want to hear the tickling of the ears. They want to hear that, yes, they're going to make, 7 times or 10 times whatever amount that they put into the kitty for the preacher and for the church. Yeah, that you're going to be so much more blessed. And the number is usually 7 times. In any case, I had to get that off my chest. Apologize, but things like that just make me angry. And I'm going to call it righteous anger. I'll let the Lord, show me whether it's righteous or not. But people, that's just wrong. I've dealt with those things for a long time. I've been in a lot of the wrong places, the wrong churches, and I've spent a year here, 2 years there before I actually was woken up and found out. And yeah, probably wasn't able to be told that I was in the wrong place, but eventually I could listen, and eventually I did listen, and I changed, and then I knew, because I was showed from the Holy Spirit what is truth and what's not truth. Discernment. All pray for that. We don't want to be led astray. We don't want to be deceived, right? We want to be on the right path. The one path that we have to be on. That's the one we need to be on. Not on the many roads, okay, according to at least one person, very popular person. Yeah, there are many paths, according to this person. No, there's not. There's only one path. Only one. So with that, that's my, what do you call it? My, not my footstool, my, I don't know. That's it. That's it. That's what it is. So let's get on with the news. Yeah, we must have all heard this. So it is Monday, so I will be talking about a couple things that happened during the weekend. And before I get into this South America blackout, leaves 40 million without power. That's crazy, man. It's not just Venezuela. Okay, let's talk about the earthquakes. Very significant, I think, the 3 that happened over the weekend, and I wanted to take a look at that, the pictures of them, because they basically happened in the same area down there off the west of Australia there, where they normally happen, north of New Zealand, okay, that little, I don't know what you call it, a crooked knee, looks like a crooked knee. And let's just say that there were, second here. Yeah, and I don't know which particular days are on, Saturday or Sunday, but there was 2 that happened just about in the same spot, a 7.4, which they downgraded to a 7.2, no tsunami, and a 6.0 happened in the same area. I mean, I looked on it and maps back and forth, clicked it back and forth, and it didn't move far at all, or if anything. And then they have a 6.3. I'm missing one, because there was another one that was a little bit north of all 3 of them. let's see. Yeah, right along that ridge, man. And that's not the first time. And these are big earthquakes in one area. Okay. Yeah, it's still a ring of fire, I guess, but below Fiji, in between New Zealand and Fiji. I mean, we know what's going on in Fiji, right? Figure out why certain people are dying there. Uh, Mainly tourists. But in any case, I want to talk about, just wanted to mention that before I forgot about those earthquakes because they are significant. And like I said, I don't remember how long ago it was, but it wasn't that long. I mean, it might have been as long as a month, maybe a month and a half, 2 months ago, where they had two significant big ones over there in the same area. So I don't know. I guess go to Dutch Sense and find out what's going on in that area, or just keep looking there without being too distracted. I don't know. Just got a bad feeling about that place. 7.4, man. You would think that there calls a tsunami of some type right out there in the ocean. But anyways, let's get back to South America blackout leads over 40 million without power. What day was that? That was in Argentina, Uruguay, and Paraguay on Sunday, yesterday. In what the Argentine president called an unprecedented failure in the country's power grid. That's what he's calling it. Yeah, so, they said by the evening, though, electricity had returned to 98% of the Argentinians. Power also had been restored to most of Uruguay's 3 million people. So it brings up other things, I believe, that some people are talking about. And I didn't quite want to go there at the moment, but no other choice. Yeah. Who else was talking about this? Oh, yes. We're going to go all the way back to where I didn't want to go yet. But we're going to go to, well, here's another from Bloomberg, another article about the power outage. Grid collapse. Argentina isn't ruling out a cyber attack in major power outage. So that would be an update because this was today. But there were other things, other people talking about this power grid. And not just, what happened there, but what may happen next. I spoke with you all before about something, stopthecrime.net. That's where this is right here. Where stopthecrime.net, where she talked about the NASA, these NASA war plans. And I'm going to bring up this main page right here that basically gives you an idea of what's on certain pages of what NASA was planning to do or is planning to do. Some of them are ongoing. You can see over here in page 93, down here where it says, capture, torture Americans in living color on primetime terror attacks within CONUS, which I think it means continental U.S., but binary bio critical infrastructure takedown, IOIW. I don't know what those two mean. IO could be, I don't know what that is. EMP, and RF against brain, etc. But, we got to watch out for a blackout here because there are other people still talking about this. We should be aware of this. We should be prepared for this. We should be prepared for a blackout. you all know that the infrastructure here is crumbling, and they're not really in a hurry to fix anything. I think they're waiting for something. I don't know what it is. We can all speculate on that and pray on it. But it's not going to be good. I mean, regardless of whether Trump already put together a contract with the Saudis to come over here and do our arteries, our roadways anyway, highways and the byways, and set up tolls everywhere. And no Americans will be working on the project. Maybe, core engineers, but I heard it was going to be all Saudis working here. We'll see how that goes. But this one is from stopthecrime.net. This is a short video from JonXArmy, and actually the beginning of it's put together pretty well. Normally some of the ones that I go see him on are just him talking, and that's it. But this is pretty interesting. So listen to at least a 5-minute video. We'll listen to about 2 minutes of it. And this is about the maybe upcoming utility blackout. But he put some other, what do you call it? I'll just let you listen to it.
I'm all out of gum.
A media blackout refers to the censorship of news related to a certain topic, particularly in mass media for any reason. A media blackout may be voluntary or may in some countries be enforced by the government or state. Which brings us to today's topic, predictive programming and symbolism everywhere about an upcoming blackout.
True.
The question everybody wants to know is what type of blackout are they predicting? An information blackout? A media blackout? Maybe they're predicting an internet shutdown, a blackout? Or maybe they're literally predicting a blackout, a power grid failure.
Okay, just remember that you know that the internet, our internet, was handed over to the United Nations by Obama, okay, given to them, just gave it to them. I mean, the UN is the United States anyway, but yeah, that just gives them control, because the United States wouldn't come out and do that purposely, right? They let the UN do it.
If you take a look at the Economist magazine cover, The World in 2019, before they changed it, but that's another video, you see that it's got a jet black cover. They're predicting a blackout. It's also important to note that it's their 33rd year annual special issue, looking ahead to the future, 2019. Next, I'd like to point you to a recent video game released. In Call of Duty 4, they have a new blackout mode. It's a battle royale session that competes with Fortnite. Now, when I looked it up on the website, this is what it says. Blackout Decision Points, Part 1. You've got some decisions to make. Here's what you need to know, so you make them wisely. Now, this blackout predictive programming just went into the heads of millions of children all over the world. Now let's take a look at these new Jordans. They were just released today, November 29th, 2018. The Air Jordan 33. Note the 33. But guess what these shoes are called? The Utility Blackout. Now that's predictive programming if I've ever seen it. Utility Blackout closes out the year strong in its blacked out representation of the future ready model. And just for fun, if you want to get really spooky, head over to the popular online retailer known as Eastbay and read their advertisement for the new Jordan Utility Lockdown shoes, providing unprecedented ease and a little creepy when you read between the lines.
All right, so he's going to go on and talk about this utility blackout Jordan that they're putting out, what it could mean. And he I kind of agree in reverse to what he says. He basically wants to point to the utility blackout as a internet blackout because of the everyone or the UN or whatever the powers that be want to regulate the internet. Yeah, they want to regulate it like a utility. They're treating it like that. So that's what he gives for a reason to think that it may be just an internet blackout. But that's kind of down the future, down the lane some ways. It's not really considered that yet, and they haven't. Well, I wouldn't call what the social media outlets are doing regulated. It's more like they're just stopping you from free speech and so on and so forth. But the utility program we do have, is electric, our electric grid. That is a utility. And everything's just been pointing to that for years now. I think they've been testing it for at least a couple of years. Spotty outages here and there, testing it on other countries right now. I mean, yeah, we could have this big utility blackout and be blamed, on China and their some kind of cyber attack or whoever. But so that's where it stopped. The crime.net or JonXArmy. He has his YouTube channels, like I said. And I don't always agree with what he says, that's for sure. Hello, Hen, how you doing? Hope everything's okay, sister. Hope everything's okay with your mom. Still praying on that stuff. So, now that I've been brought to the end of my program, let's get back towards the middle and talk about a couple other things. Some other things that happened and affected our food, okay, our global food. Violent hailstorms strike France. I know that France has been hit before, and Italy was hit, flooded. There's all kinds of floods and other damage, not only from that, but from this unprecedented amount of locust attacks in countries around in the Middle East. Just hordes after hordes in different countries attacking. And what do you think they eat? They eat everything green just about, and that includes our crops. So famine, yeah, I think we're going to have a famine somewhere along the line. I think that's another reason the government's going to institute this beast system, which I think is basically here already, and they're going to call it their New World Order, and everyone's going to have to be chipped and vaccinated and all this stuff, especially with this Ebola, and we're going to talk about that again too. Agricultural damage reported, hailstone. So on the 15th and 16th, which was over the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, causing significant infrastructure and agricultural damage. Amazingly, only one person was killed in the town of Tennings. Yeah, high winds. I mean, they're not, been told about high straight line winds for a while now. We're getting them. Not as high as predicted, but we're getting them. So we'll talk about this thing, which other preachers and teachers or whoever, prophecy tellers, are jumping on the bandwagon again for. Apparently, and this is from the Daily Star, which was picked up by End Time Headlines also. Rapture warning. This biblical prophecy claims end of days tomorrow, which is today. I got this from yesterday. They're claiming it's come out tonight. This moon, this strawberry moon. A lot of preachers out there saying that, Is this the rapture? Is this going to be it? Talking about, what were they talking about? Pentecost. Isn't that right around the corner? Or I thought it already happened. Not too. I just forgot about what those holidays and feasts, what order they come into. I know the Feast of Tabernacles is last, I guess. I think you got Pentecost, Passover, all that stuff already passed, so that was in April. But anyway, Strawberry Moon is the 6th of this year's 12th named full moon phases. Strawberry Moon tonight promises to stun astronomy enthusiasts around the world, but doomsday preachers have sensationally claimed the red moon means end of days. They've been talking about these blood moons ever since remember those 4 blood moons? I think what was it, 2 years ago? That happened in Israel. I mean, we've had prominent preachers come out and say, yeah, according to scriptures, according to prophecies, yep, these 4 blood moons meant so many things. A lot of other things were going on then too, I guess. 70th year or Jubilee or all kinds of stuff. But we're still here. You think maybe we've been left behind? It's possible, but I don't think so. Definitely possible. Well, it hasn't happened in the past 60 years, though, or else, I would have noticed at least people disappearing, left and right all around the world. Or maybe the elite, that remnant is so small that we didn't notice it. Who knows? I mean, I don't know. I'm always in prayer about that. Nobody knows for sure, even the ones that claim, rapture before the tribulation. I mean, they can't get together on what tribulation means. I mean, most places they call it tribulation. Other places they call it, and you have to find it really hard, is wrath, which is the anger of God, and tribulation is not the anger of God. So I don't know how they got wrath in that. Some people just find a way or find a Bible that actually says, what they are thinking, or vice versa. Make one Bible up. But anyways, I do believe that we're not appointed to God's wrath, and I believe that wrath will come in the last day. The last day, because there's only one day that this world, this existence can handle the presence of God. That one day, and who knows how long it will be. And in any case, nobody knows. But it will be quick and efficient. It will renew the earth. It will melt everything. Everything will be renewed. Everybody will be renewed. That's the last day. That's the day of wrath. And I don't believe the wrath is anywhere in the tribulation time. There's tribulation and there's great tribulation. Maybe that will cut that in half. The 3.5 years of tribulation versus the last 3.5 or last 3 years, whatever it is, 3.5 years, would be great tribulation. I can understand that. And I can understand that we be, raptured out of here either before that or in the middle of it. I don't know. I'm not going to argue with anybody about it. That's just what I think. And I'm going to let the Lord, teach these things to me. And I take them as they come from Him. Problem is that I've listened to too many people beforehand, and I've just been tossed to and fro, like the Bible says. I mean, I was literally like a wave, tossed to and fro, listening to what this one person says versus that one person says, and you talk about out of balance. Woof. When you start building a relationship with Jesus and the Holy Spirit, and you do it between yourself and Jesus, It's not a group thing, though it ends up being a group thing. Your relationship, and he teaches you what you can handle. There's some things, Jesus said that there's some things that he wanted to tell the apostles, but they couldn't handle it at the time. That's how it goes for everybody's relationship, their own relationship with Jesus Christ. He will teach you what you need to know, sometimes what you will ask for, if you can handle it. And, I've seen both arguments on both sides about rapture beforehand, in the middle, towards the end. All I can tell you is that I believe that we are supposed to. I believe that we're in the days of sorrows, and the Bible does say that. Now I don't know exactly what this Jacob's trouble is. I still haven't been able to, been given full knowledge of that yet. Some people have it. I still can't understand it no matter what they say. It's weird how it works that way. I will not be able to understand it until it's given to me. You can always listen to somebody else, but you need to go prove everything too. I mean, that's what it tells you to do as well. Go prove everything. So anyways, here on the East Coast, I believe it's around 9:30 p.m. that this strawberry moon will be out, if the clouds or the chemtrails, are good to you. We're supposed to have rain for the next 3 days, so I may not see it, but I will be looking for it. Told us to look for the sign in the sky, and I've seen a blood moon before in my own backyard, and wrote a little something about it. Pretty interesting. Yeah. That's weird. All right, so yeah, and we're not going to get into these preachers and all these prophecy foretellers. I just do what the Lord says, and I'm going to keep watching, and Holy Spirit will tell me what I need to know. That's all I can say. I mean, I'm not claiming I know anything any more than anybody. I do know very little. And yeah, heat wave. Yeah, heat wave. Yeah, North California. They got theirs last week, I guess. Tennessee, I guess, in that area got theirs too. I don't know if they're still going through it. Scientists warn heat waves could kill thousands in U.S. cities. And the weather's been all over the place. You know that. We've been following it. I mean, we're going to have, and this is we're going into the third week of June now. Okay, into the third week of June, and next week is only going to be in the upper 70s. That's it. I've never seen a June like this ever. I've never seen, night times in May and June in the 50s. One couple days were 48. It's just not right here. And that's just a wake-up sign. Oh, something's wrong. And while we're having that, California, Northern California, we're having their cold nights too. Now they got their really hot, days and nights. And we're maintaining our low records, for June. Scientists warn heat waves could kill thousands. So consider yourself warned. Yeah, heat waves definitely could kill thousands. They most certainly could, especially if the power goes out. Power goes out, it would definitely be in the thousands. You don't know how many elderly people and all these other people who have conditioned themselves to sit in rooms with air conditioners. That's one reason. Not the biggest reason, but one reason I don't particularly turn my ACs on until I absolutely positively have to. You're talking in the 90s and, 70% humidity where I'm just dripping sitting there. That's when I turn the air conditioner on. Only one or two couple days out of the year. That's it. Otherwise, I don't like it. Air just, feels stale, and I much rather, try to keep cool until the sun goes down, and then get a fan, blow the cool air into the house, and yeah, that's it. A lot of these people are going to suffer because of their conditioning, air conditioning. Yeah, not funny really, because a lot of elderly people suffer. A lot of the younger ones will suffer. And all we need to do is pray, okay? That's why we need to be constantly in prayer. Yeah, sometimes I walk like a robot just to walk while I'm praying. Anyways. Well, so talk about earthquakes in diverse places. Third earthquake in 7 days. Registered on the Lake Erie, Ohio. I think we did that 2 days ago. We're talking about one in Ohio, a rarity. Something else going on in those lakes too, besides the fact that, China is stealing the water from it. Did you know that? Yeah. Last year we had an article. We did some news about that. China owns part of Ohio. I think they own one of the biggest ports there in Ohio. Don't know exactly where. And they just go out there and they scoop up the water and they bottle it and send it home. Yeah, they send it home and they store it in the ground. A lot of talk about that too, about water wars. Debbie Traveris from StopTheCrime.net is a big one on that. She has a lot of documentation. And, you got some people saying, yeah, water wars because we have shortage of water. We have water disappearing over, during the night. Mexico, across the border, a whole river disappeared in one night. We've seen a lot of places and rivers, and, besides the fact that they're all pretty much, swollen right now, somewhere along the line, they'll have to prove their global warming by turning it all off. But anyways, and, people think, and I agree, took a lot of data, but I agree with the fact that water is a renewable resource. It's not a dying one. And I guess let's see. Yeah, let's go over here. And this is also from documentation and study that Debbie Traveris has done, and she, I praise that woman. She gets around and she does her work. Very good work. She's dedicated, man. Especially her, for her and her surroundings in California. So she talks about the water wars and the primary water cycle. This primary water is what she talks about. When we had the floods, the Great Flood, right? The whole world was enveloped in water. And what do you remember about that incident, about what Moses told you about the flood? How was the earth engulfed in water? Right? The gates of heaven were opened and the water came down, the firmament. And he also said that the gates in the earth, under the ocean, were opened. And that water rushed up. So, we got water in many places. We have it in the firmaments above, and we have it below us. Because the Lord has it as a storehouse. He said it in the Bible, in Genesis. Now, a lot of people don't know that. So they're going to go and have these water wars while other people are going to try and calm them down, make them, somewhat reasonable enough to sit and listen to the data and go check out for themselves. This Primary Water Institute, talks about this primary water and where it is, how you can get it. Sometimes it's just on the surface. Sometimes you only have to dig like 8 feet, 40 feet down before you hit this primary water. Some have to go as far as 100 feet, 140 feet, 200 feet. They're doing it in Africa. There's just somewhere along. I've listened to the documents and the videos I saw. For a certain amount of money, they went out there and dug holes. They drilled holes in the ground, and I think the success rate is like 95% that they find these waters and they make wells. I mean, didn't who made that well? Didn't Jacob make a well? Didn't Abraham make a well? Right? Aren't they still used today? Maybe there's water. Don't worry about it. We have plenty of water. It's just whether the people on the surface of this little thin crust that we get around on, the people who claim that they're in charge and want us to be slaves and, kowtow to everything they say and tell us to do. You can't collect water from your house. You can't collect rainwater unless you be taxed. Yeah, they're even taxing rain on your property. That's California. California is just, I think that's just one of the biggest of devil's playgrounds ever going on in California. And we're going to all pray soon corporately. Once I get that video done on the suicide facts, suicide rates, and whatnot, we're going to get together and we're all going to pray about this principality of suicide. I know what prayer can do, and I know what corporate prayer can do also. We a lot of us think that we had a president elected because of that corporate prayer. I believe we did. No, whether it was the Lord's will to do so anyway, I mean, that's something else. But getting together like that and talk about, faith of a mustard seed and being able to move mountains with just that. Just imagine, people from all over getting together on one particular night, one particular hour, no matter where you are in the world, in the country, all praying on the same thing. Don't tell me there's not going to be some kind of movement there. I'm hoping for. So, how much time we got? Well, we don't have much time. So, yeah, y'all know that there was a gunman in, was it Texas today? Yeah. So this is this video. Gunman exchanged fire with officers outside federal courthouse in downtown Dallas. Last time I knew, he had recently passed away. So there is a video here if you want it. I don't, I just did it because it was top news for the day, and I don't really, doesn't move me at all. These things go on all the time. So, in any case. So you're talking about, water wars, things. I mean, we had apparently from Mr. BBB333 put out a video about another little pin dot on the map. A little bay, Birch Bay, disappeared. Yeah, don't know why, but it disappeared. 2 miles of it. I want to tell you. We'll listen to about 2 minutes of this.
Of a water anomaly right here in this area. From here, we're going to go down to the Gulf of Mexico, where I've noticed yet another water anomaly. Then I put together a slideshow of some incredible photographs that I want to share with you guys. But first, here at Birch Bay, Washington, this entire bay you're going to see here in the video that's over 2 miles wide is completely empty of water. On the afternoon of June 16th, around 2 p.m., I received a video from Mimi, who apparently lives in this area, and this is not normal. You're about to see this bay completely drained of water. Here it is. No water. She's probably 200 yards out into the bay. So I would say that that's a little more than just an average low tide event. I mean, maybe that's considered an extreme low tide event. I don't think she'd be out here recording if this was normal. Let's just put it that.
Okay. So let me put out this disclaimer because I know if I don't, I will get a copyright just from that video. She'll claim copyright rights over it. If I can send her some money, I would. Let's get back to business here. So I'll leave a link for that. It's 12 and a half minutes. I didn't listen to the rest of it. I didn't have time. I was kind of rushed. And I'm only going to show you the first 21 seconds of this video because I'm not going to play it anymore. I will not listen to him anymore. I have my own reasons. But let's listen to the first 21 seconds and find out.
Year 2019. It's just after 2:30 p.m. EST. One of the next wars that we will fight upon this earth will be fought over water, just as today's wars are fought over oil. This is because water is a depleting resource.
Okay, and that's where basically I stopped it and I couldn't go on. He calls it a depleted resource. First of all, except for that bay disappearing yesterday, we have plenty of water. Okay, and I've got proof and data that there is plenty of primary water. We just have to dig deep. We could fix all these drought problems. We can, somehow get the government to stop geoengineering these weather events and taking out our food for their, sick little plan that they got. That's what the devil wants to do anyway, to kill us all. I can't stand looking at videos with people staring you back into the face. It just bothers me. I don't know why he does that. That's not why, but yeah, you should check his facts. I mean, I've checked mine. Yeah, we do go to war over oil, and that's what they tell you anyway. Okay, that we're going into this country and we're going to stop this tyrant, Saddam Hussein. But yeah, so I mean, they knew. That's why they lit all the oil fields on fire. We're there for oil, but we produce and export more oil than anybody else right now. That's what they say anyway. But in any case, yeah, we'll go to war over oil, even though that is a renewable resource as well. You can find that also at stopthecrime.net. Yeah, it's not what they tell you it is. Fossil fuels. Yeah, you know my feelings about that. It's not about the dinosaurs getting into the last forest and then they all die together and create this big pool of oil afterwards. Yeah, I know it goes through a bunch of compressions and it leaks through rocks and moves around and yeah, then pulls together. Whatever. I'm not going to believe that one. No, they had me for when I was a kid, when I was young and stupid. But yeah, I'm a little bit more aware now. And go to war over water? Some people might. I don't see. Of course, the big war machine, they'll figure out a way to get to war. I mean, we're already in a perpetual war on terror, so that will probably never end until it does end. So that's just their way of keeping an open, just an open case, open book, for as long as they want to do what they want. Because once that book is open and our country's at war, our government can come and take anything you have, can take anything I have, and we're doing it for the betterment of our country, and we should be happy about it. Basically it. So, anyways, he has good videos. He is a prepper. He does sell some prep stuff and food, so I'll leave it with that. And, right here, I mean, he talks about it's too expensive, or our government doesn't have the technology to take these oceans and take the salt. It's called a desalination. Israel's been doing it for a while now. Okay. Israel, this article right here, Israel proves the desalination era is here. They've already been doing it. You know where we get most of our technology these days? From Israel. And they are the chosen peoples, right? On the chosen land over there. I don't know if they're the chosen people anymore. Those people are all dead. There are people occupying it that claim that they are Jews. But anyways, I won't get into that either. Well, not too much. So yeah, God's land is over there. God owns everything, but He made some particular land over there His precious land, and the people. But the people turned away from Him, and you know what happened with that? Off to Assyria, off to Babylon, yeah, and then spread out through the whole world, and finally back together in 1948. The rest of that. And so I really don't have time to go into this Ebola updates, previews, but go to Florida Maquis. I mean, he keeps putting the stuff out. But this one I found that was very interesting that me and World Watchman were talking about when we first started. This is from Bloomberg Business Week. Pig Ebola virus sends shockwaves through global food chain. China has half of the pig meat market. And so there has been the African swine fever in China for a long time. They're always talking about it over there. Kind of influenza or other stuff. But they have never talked about Ebola. And even though it's in the title, I don't see where they mention it. They talk about the African swine fever. They're talking about, always having to cull these pigs. I've seen them, kill all these pigs, and then they dump them in a stupid river. I mean, an artery, resource of water that people drink from. Obviously going to get people sick. So this virus will move markets, may influence geopolitics. Yeah, if they have half the population, so they started with a few dozen dead pigs in northeastern China, sending shockwaves through the global food. Late August, a farmer with fewer than 400 hogs on the outskirts of Shenyang was found to harbor African swine fever, the first ever occurrence of the contagious viral disease in the country with half the world's pigs. Yeah, half. 47 head had died, triggering emergency measures, including mass culling and a blockade to stop the transportation of livestock. Within days, a government notice proclaimed the outbreak effectively controlled. It wasn't. It was too late. By then, the disease had literally gone viral, dispersed across hundreds of miles and sickened animals, contaminated foods, and in dirt and dust on truck tires and clothing. 9 months later, the contagion had spread nationwide, crossed borders to Mongolia, Vietnam, Cambodia, and bolstered meat markets globally. While officials estimate count 1 million culled hogs, slaughter data suggested 100 times more will be removed from China's 440 million strong swine herd in 2019. Chinese Zodiac's Year of the Pig. The U.S. Department of Agriculture forecast in April a decline of 134 million head, equivalent to the entire annual output of American pigs, and the worst slump since the department began counting China pigs in the mid-1970s. That's what's happening with our pig stock. Yeah, I mean, we're not, well, we won't get into that and what we're told that we can eat and not eat because, we're not really bound by the laws anymore. Because Jesus died for the curse of sin, and sin is death. Um, but we are to follow the laws, Ten Commandments, and the two that Jesus gave us. You want to love everyone, period. Love everyone as yourself. So, with that, I don't why this Ebola is in the headline, which is the reason why I was looking for it. But swine fever, are they telling me that the African swine fever is the same as Ebola? I don't think that's what they're telling me, is it? I don't know. We'll have to find out more about this article. I believe swine fever is something else, kind of like the flu, the H1N1 and stuff like that. I think they just made a mistake. He's trying to tell me they didn't, but in any case, I am not going to go into the rest of what I have here. We're already 5 minutes over what I normally go. So I think it's a good idea to go to stopthecrime.net. Go to these the NASA war plans. Okay, one of them is, one of them in their list of plans to do is an EMP. If you call it an attack, if they use it on us, it would be an attack. So I'd have to call it an attack. EMP attack on its own citizens, or maybe they've already tried it somewhere else. Maybe South America. I don't know. But they do have the technology. Okay. Yeah, and that's not to mention there's so much stuff going on, man. Like these vast swarms of flies that are plaguing Russian villages right now from The Guardian. That's from The Guardian if you want to go. I'll leave the link anyway, just like everything else. I don't know if I can leave the link for the Utility Blackout video from JonXArmy. You probably have to go to his website or his YouTube channel. Get that. I am subscribed there, but I don't remember seeing this. But in any case, people, there you have it. It's Monday. It's only Monday. And I guess, if you're not well, let's just say, if you have fear, then we need to go pray. We're not supposed to have fear. If you don't have fear, that's awesome. You're not supposed to. I know these things, when we're young in our walks, we tend to have fear and worry and then go pray. But in any case, that's it. God bless you all. Take care of yourselves. Of course, I'll be praying for all of you and all your trials and tribulations, and pray that obviously the promise is kept, that Jesus will not give you more than you can handle. And we'll go believe in that. Let's just keep an eye on each other. Let's go lift each other up. Let's fellowship from time to time. It's really good. It is. Jesus, wants us to do that, and there's got to be a reason behind it, right? He doesn't do something just for nothing. That's one thing I get out of fellowship is, listening to other brothers and sisters, either asking just normal daily questions, how's the weather, to, people having hard times, and so they need prayer, and we give prayer. Or we listen to testimonies, what people are going through and what they've been through. And there's always a benefit to that. So anyways, people, God bless. I'll see you Wednesday. And peace out, everyone.